Atlanta's music leader. This is the Morning Rise. Now broadcasting weekdays from 6 to 10 on 106 R&B and Throwbacks.
And good morning, and welcome to the Morning Rise with the Variable Y 106liveradio.com. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me adjust my seat. Okay, sorry about that. Trying to get everything together when you don't have the actual camera on kind of makes things not appear the way that they are. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us there on Viewing Land. Thank you so much. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Of course, thank you guys for joining us on Radio Land. Thank you for continuing with us through the transition over to Viewing Land. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody is doing great. Today, like I said on the Viewing Land, today's topic, we are going to talk about the importance of celebration, and more so than anything, the importance of celebrating ourselves, right? Like it is important. I think it is very important for us to actually celebrate ourselves, for us to say, hey, I've accomplished something, or I've done something great, or I have achieved something, or I've done what I've always wanted to do, or anything like that. And I think it's important for us to have a seriously open and honest just applause or hug or however you want to classify it, but just some way of saying, wow, I did what I always wanted to do, or I did what I set out to do. And that's amazing. So like I was saying earlier in the in Radio Land, shout out to my man Romy Rome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Like I was saying earlier in Radio Land, I had what made me think of this topic was we had a celebration this weekend for my in-laws, right? My mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law. They all have birthdays in February. My mother-in-law's was early February. My brother-in-law's was Saturday, and my sister-in-law's was in the middle of February, like beginning, middle, and end, basically. And that's a good idea, Rome. That is coming up. That is a great idea. So I was we had that celebration, and I thought to myself, wow, this is so cool, right? And now, granted, don't get me wrong, it was a celebration for all three of them, and it was also a way to get all of our families together. One thing we all recognized was how little we've spent time with each other, obviously, in the past 2 years because of everything that's going on in this world. And I just sat around thinking, man, this is so great. This is really just a great time. This is a great time for us to be here. This is a great time for my mother-in-law to have all these wonderful people around who she loves. She had all of her grandchildren there. So that was awesome for her. Like, how often does that happen? Again, hasn't happened a lot in about 2 years or so. And we just don't, we don't get the opportunity to be with each other and to celebrate each other, right? And again, so even though it wasn't her celebration specifically, it was a celebration for them, all three of them, but it was a big celebration for her. She did have the opportunity to just sit back and just be around her loved ones and to be around the people that she loves the most. And again, she doesn't really get an opportunity to be around them for too long because, what's going on in the world out here. But again, I just thought that was awesome. And I just thought that, hey, we should all just sit back and just be thankful for the opportunity that we have to celebrate, right? Be thankful for the opportunity that we have to say, hey, I've done it. Hey, I graduated college. Hey, I got my master's. Hey, I graduated high school. Hell, even though I have my own feelings about high school graduations, but or mainly it's mostly just how people act during high school graduations. But still, the actual, actually celebrating it is still something that I think people should take part in. Or if it's I got the promotion, or I started a new job, or I quit the old job that was stressing me out, or I got married. Some of y'all are out here having divorce parties. I got divorced again, something that was stressing me out. So anytime where you get an opportunity that that you've done something that is new or different or exciting, or just you got an opportunity to do something that you've always wanted to do, or that you wanted to do, or that you haven't had an opportunity to do. Anytime where you do that, I am all for it. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very excited. I'm very grateful, to have been a part of her celebration. And I want us to get into celebrating ourselves more, right? I want us to get into being able to say, hey, I am having a great time. I want everybody to know that, this opportunity, this moment is about me. There are a lot of moments, there are a lot of people, not all of us, because some of us do just fine celebrating ourselves. But I don't think everybody does. I think that far too often we are willing, and I mean the collective we, are willing to just let times and moments and celebrations and things like that just go by the wayside, and we don't really give a lot of weight behind what we've just done. We don't really appreciate what we've done. We don't appreciate that, we are out here doing amazing things. We are out here overcoming some big time obstacles. Hell, we're out here you know surviving a global pandemic, right? We are out here figuring out ways to work from home and to homeschool our children, and to just make the world continue to go, even when everything around us says no, this ain't gonna work. And we made it work, right? We've made it work. Like, I mean, we're here. We're here in 2022. When around this time in 2020, we were kind of nervous, right? We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what all of this meant. We had no clue what the heck was going on. We had no clue. And we're here in 2022, man. A lot of you in 2020, a lot of you quit jobs. Hell, in 2020, I quit a job, or I resigned, I should say, from a job. And then 2021 rolled around, and a lot of stuff happened in 2021. A lot of it was residual from 2020. A lot of it was residual from, however many years. But a lot of stuff happened in 2021, that made 2021 pretty insane, is the best way to put it. But we're here in 2022, and some of us are celebrating birthdays, and some of us are getting new jobs, and some of us are graduating college. Some of us are having gone back to college and furthering our education, and some of us are getting married. Some of us are having children. Some of us are having children graduate from high school or college. That's a celebration. And it is time for us to take the chance to celebrate ourselves, and to be happy about that, and to really, really take into account just how much we should celebrate, right? Because we should celebrate ourselves. We should be proud of the achievements and accomplishments that we have come up with. Because unfortunately, everybody doesn't get an opportunity to do that, right? Everybody didn't get the opportunity to do that in 2021. Everybody didn't get the opportunity to do that in 2020. So while we're here and we have the opportunity, let's celebrate ourselves. Let's feel happy. Let's feel comfortable. Let's feel emboldened. Let's feel empowered to celebrate ourselves. If no one else is going to celebrate you, damn it, celebrate yourself. That's how I feel. But what do you guys think? 404-464-8785. Of course, you can hit me up. You got my social medias right there, right down there. Hopefully, you can read all of that. You can hit me up on all those social medias. We got Miss JaNeen coming. She will be calling in just a second. Right now, my man Rome put out a great idea. I wish I would have thought about it, honestly, but I didn't. But or I probably would have played it already. But hey, that's okay. I'm here for everybody and their ability to help out the show. So it's not just me, it is we. So thank you to my man Rome. And let's go ahead and play some music for you guys. And then we will come back and we will talk some more about this. And hopefully we'll have Mr. JaNeen with us. So we'll be right back right here on The Morning Rise with the Variable Y, 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7.
A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on! It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright, baby. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Come on and celebrate tonight. 'Cause everything's gonna be alright. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times, come on.
We're taking you all the way back. With the greatest old school hits on 106liveradio.com.
Let's do this.
We are back right here on the Morning Rise with the Variable Y, 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. So, back on the topic of celebrating ourselves. And so we can use moments in our lives to really celebrate ourselves, right? We can use moments in our lives to give us the opportunity to celebrate ourselves. Like in those moments where you feel like, yeah, but oh man, but what if I throw a birthday party and nobody shows up? So what? Right? Like, I mean, it's still your birthday, right? You still have to find enjoyment in what you do in this life, right? And so if excuse me, if it happens to be that it's your birthday and nobody will show up, then that's fine. I remember story time, the variable Y. I remember there was one year where I was in my 20s, so obviously I really made a big deal out of my birthday, right? And I think I had like a weekend's worth of events. Like I had an event Friday, an event Saturday, an event Sunday, an event Monday, right? And I say events, but I was young and I was broke, so it was like, hey, meet me here, meet me here, meet me here, meet me here. So, and I think that one night, and it's so ironic because it was also that same day was also the day that one of my friends was Atlanta leaving Atlanta, packed up his car and drove to California. So like the night of my birthday dinner and like the subsequent night that we went out was like one of the last night, well not last night, but one of the nights where my friend was leaving. And so it was kind of like oh man, it's my birthday, but we're saying goodbye, right? And I remember there was this young lady who I was, kind of talking to, whatever. But I barely knew her, right? I just met her. So we was trying to in the talking phase, so we're getting to know each other, hanging out, doing whatever, right? So I had this again, had a weekend's worth of events. Hey, meet me here, meet me there. So I told my friends, I told the crew, right? And you guys have heard about the crew. So I told the crew, hey, this is what we're doing. It's my birthday. This is what we're doing. Boom, 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 boom. So I go to dinner, and the only people that show up, only people that show up are the young lady who I'm talking to, her family, so like her sister and her cousin, and then this other young lady who was a friend of mine and her boyfriend. So none of my actual aces, none of my friends, none of the crew, nobody else showed up, right? So it was just them. And there was a part of me that was like, mad at these people, my people, for not showing up, mad as heck at my people for not showing up. But then there was another part of me that says, F it, I'm going to celebrate because it's my birthday, right? Like, I am not going to let anybody stop me from celebrating on my birthday, right? And, no shade to them, nothing against them. I love them. They're my friends. I love them. But, them not being there to celebrate wasn't going to stop me, right? It didn't stop me from having having dinner with them. It didn't stop me from going out later on and having a good time. And then, one of my buddies was able to show up anyway. Now, on a later date, I'll tell you about this young lady I dated and how that friend I told you who was there with her boyfriend, how she told me, oh yeah, no, variable, don't do that. She's crazy. Like, why? Trust me, she's crazy. So, obviously that didn't that didn't work out. But on another day, on a later day, I'll tell you about that. On the Morning Rise After Hours show where we can really get explicit, I'll tell you some more about that because that was even more of a experience. Nothing bad, but just a little bit more of an experience. But until we get the variable Morning Rise After Hours show, we'll just have to settle for I'll tell you guys about that some other time. So anyway, man, good stuff to start out. We definitely want to make sure that we are celebrating ourselves, and we are because it's to me, that's what I think of when I think of self-care, is celebrating ourselves, loving ourselves, and you no one else can do it. You got to be the first one, even if you're the only one out there, man. even if you're the only one out there. So let's go to break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more about, again, loving ourselves, celebrating ourselves, and how it's okay, how we need to take any stigma out of it, because it's okay for us to celebrate ourselves, because doggone it, it's hard out here for a pimp. I wonder where we're going to come back with. Anyway, we'll be right back. Right here on The Morning Rise with the Variable Y on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Now is a great time for all people to focus on their cardiovascular health. The Division for Heart Disease and Stroke Prevention is shining a light on hypertension, high blood pressure, as a leading risk factor for heart disease and stroke. The division is committed to addressing barriers to health equality in communities disproportionately affected by cardiovascular disease. Healthcare professionals and community partners, we know you're busy. We can help. Use these toolkits developed by the CDC to implement evidence-based hypertension control strategies. Healthcare professionals, identify patients with hypertension. Incorporate lessons learned from successful stories. Share messages and graphics with your care teams to help patients control their hypertension. Public health professionals, read and incorporate evidence-based policy tools and guides into your organization. Link to data and maps that highlight the burden of hypertension and successful intervention. Share messages and graphics with individuals and patients in your social network. Individuals and patients, share patient-friendly resources in your clinics and virtual waiting rooms. Link to plain language educational resources to help people learn about high blood pressure. Copy social messages and graphics and share them with individuals and patients in your social networks. For more information, please visit cdc.gov/heart disease.
I don't hesitate, 'cause the West is go.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Are you thinking of changing your marketing strategy? 106 Live Radio is the solution you need to promote your goods and services. For a limited time only, we are offering special advertising rates on our fast-growing radio network. We can also help you create an audio commercial or a website banner that fits your business needs. It is just that simple. Visit our website at 106liveradio.com for details.
Bringing you the best shows and music 24/7 on your favorite radio. It's 106liveradio.com.
You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the friend. But a Cadillac and gas money spent will cause a whole lot of bitches jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the friend. But a Cadillac and gas money spent will have a whole lot of bitches jumping shit.
Through my eyes, I done seen some crazy things in the street. Got a couple of girls working on the track just for me. But I gotta keep my game tight like Kobe on game night. Like take it from a girl, don't know no better. I know they ain't right. They seen people kill, they seen people deal, they seen people live in poverty with no meal.
It's just where I live, but that's just how it is. It might be new to you, but it's been like this for years. It's blood, sweat, and tears when it come down to a leg. Yeah, I'm trying to get rich before I leave up out of here. I'm trying to have things, but it's hard for a pimp. So I'm praying and I'm hoping to God I don't slip. Yeah.
Hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the friend. But a Cadillac and gas money spent will cause a whole lot of bitches jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the friend. But a Cadillac and gas money spent will have a whole lot of bitches jumping shit.
Man, it seems like I'm ducking, dodging bullets every day. Who's hating on me? Cause I got girls on the bay. But I gotta stay paid, gotta stay above water. Couldn't keep up with my girls, that's when things got harder. Know I'm living where I'm from, I'm 7th Street bound. With people all the time, in the lost and never found.
Man, these girls take me through things, keep me with a headache. I'm hoping every night they don't end up being dead. When I got a snow bunny and a black girl too, you pay the right price and they'll both do you. That's the way the game goes, gotta keep it strictly pimping, gotta keep my hustle tight, make a change out these women, yeah.
It's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the friend. But a Cadillac and gas money spent will cause a whole lot of bitches jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the friend. But a Cadillac and gas money spent will have a whole lot of bitches jumping shit.
Hey, this is Miss JaNeen, and when I am not on with the Variable Y, I am listening to The Morning Rise from 6 to 10 on 106liveradio.com.
Well, somebody's supposed to be on with the Variable Y. But we got a little bit of a technical difficulties, I guess you say, with Miss JaNeen. Hopefully she will be joining us pretty soon. But until then, you got me, and we are out here and we are talking about celebrating oneself and about all of the opportunities we have to celebrate ourselves, and the fact that we need to be okay with that. You know, it doesn't necessarily make you any kind of any kind of like person who just is all about themselves, self-centered, or anything like that. It just makes you a normal human being who doesn't want to wait to celebrate. Like, you know, we all do things, we all have opportunities that happen, and when something good happens in one of those, we should celebrate it. It's called an achievement. We should celebrate achievements. Shout out to my man Romy Roan, who says, good to have friends who are girls. Yes, sir, it is. Now, that being said, I didn't pay attention to what my friend was saying about that young lady, and I kind of continued to mess with her for a little bit longer. Not mess with sounds wrong. I just continued to date her for a little bit longer. Not too long, but maybe like a few weeks later, I continued to date her because, you know, obviously I wanted to, you know, I wasn't really in relationship mode at that point, but, you know, I wanted to get to know her. Y'all know what I mean. Anyway. But yes, it is good to have friends who are women who can let you know if there are any kind of any kind of nefarious actions afoot, so to speak. Shout out to Variable Junior, who was here on Friday. We were able to get some sports in on Friday. Variable Junior was in the building. That was exciting. Nicole was in here taping him, and kind of had him all over the internet, but that was cool. Him and his wild opinions, but I wonder where he gets that from, right? So yeah, that was Friday, and then another thing. Speaking of Nicole, so when I brought this topic up to her, she was saying, "Oh yes, no, this is great because I celebrate my birthday every year. Like my birthday is a national holiday. We celebrate everything. We celebrate like this, we celebrate that every year. No, y'all gonna celebrate my birthday too." And I normally take time off for my birthday, and everything she said, I was like, "Hey, I agree, man. I agree. Like, why not?" Because one thing that I think that we maybe take for granted is that everybody doesn't have like big things to celebrate, right? Everybody doesn't have a baby, right? Everybody doesn't get married. Everybody doesn't graduate from high school, college, whatever. Everybody doesn't win a championship. Everybody doesn't get a big promotion. Everybody doesn't, start their own business, right? So there are a number of things out there that we may feel is not noteworthy enough, right? And some people think that about their birthday. Some people think, oh, it's just another day. Well, I mean, yeah, it is just another day to everybody else. But to you, that should mean something. If nothing else, hell, you made it one more year on this crazy spinning rock we call Earth. It should mean something to you. If nobody else, it should mean something to you, right? I would think so. I would think that, on my birthday, like it should be a little bit about me. And now, and that's not to take away from anybody who doesn't have like other, other things going on. And I feel like those things should be important as well. Like, hey, all my fathers out there on Father's Day, I hope you guys go crazy. I hope you guys don't just do, oh, well, it's Father's Day. It's nothing. No, the hell with that. Father's Day is a big deal. Being a father and being around for your children and your family, in whatever capacity you're doing it in, hey, celebrate that, right? I mean, Mother's Day, obviously, we know that Mother's Day is a big deal, and being a mother is a big deal, right? Being a mother is a huge deal. I mean, hell, they birth the babies for goodness sake. So of course it's a huge deal, right? So, and when we do, celebrate Mother's Day, and of course we do, and we, society has given us the capability to celebrate the hell out of Mother's Day. No shade, because again, women do a lot when it comes to being mothers, and they deserve a lot of celebration for it. So there is nothing against them, but it is what it is. There is a big, huge celebration when it comes to Mother's Day, and not quite the same with Father's Day, but that's okay. That's all right. When it comes around, we all should be celebrating the fact that, hey, I'm a father to these children. I'm doing my best to be a father to these children, and I appreciate you guys actually looking out and saying thank you so much for whatever contribution you're doing on your anniversary. Like, people who on TV and stuff who forget their anniversary, I never understand that, because it's the same day every year. Same day every year for however the hell long you've been married, right? So how do you forget the day that you got married? Now, if you're in a bad marriage, I can kind of understand that. But if you're in just a decent marriage, I don't get it. It's your anniversary. Like, it's a day that you should take seriously. It's a day that you get to say to your spouse, hey, I remember when we made this decision all those years ago, and I appreciate that decision that you made to stick this out with me. And I want you to know just how much I care about you, how much you mean to me, right? Like, I would think that that's what we would all do on our anniversary. But hey, maybe that's just me. And just other things too. We just had Valentine's Day, right? Just had Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's. If you're in a relationship and you and your significant other have figured it out, you figured out exactly how you want to celebrate and what you want to do, then go crazy on it, right? As long as you guys agree with what you're going to do, and you got a partner who is down for the thought, and down with the whatever you want to call it, down with the idea of you guys doing this together, and you're not just out there doing something just all on your own, all willy-nilly. Do it. Celebrate. Why not? Right? Why not? How often do we have to celebrate people and to celebrate ourselves? How often do we have that opportunity? Not very often. Not very often. So let's take the time to celebrate each other and celebrate ourselves not more so than anything, but celebrate ourselves. Let's actually put some emphasis on that, because I don't know, far too often we're sitting back as people and we're saying, yeah, okay, but I mean, I really didn't do anything. And hey, I'm kind of the same way, right? Another little story time. So when I went back to seeing my therapist, and I need you guys to remind me to reach out to my therapist today, not always live in Atlanta's therapist, Miss JaNeen, even though she's not here. Okay, so I think she'll be coming on in a second. So let me do my story time, and then we'll go to a break, and then we'll come back with Miss JaNeen. So when I went back to see my therapist, I was telling her everything that was going on, and this was back in 2020. And I was telling her all the ideas that I had in around 2020. I was graduating from college, and and it was again 2020, so it's pandemic. So it was a graduation, but it wasn't like a graduation. It was, two family members. Every graduate could only bring two family members. And, it was in this big kind of auditorium, but it was empty. But we were able to socially distance. We were distanced from the other graduates. So it was an achievement, a big deal. But it kind of didn't feel that way, right? And again, just because of the environment that we were in, I'm sure it was just the best they could do. And I appreciate it too, right? I would much rather have that than to not have that experience. But again, it was just so different, man. Like my people weren't there to cheer me on. My wife and my mother were there, and I appreciate that more than anything. But when you picture it in your head, you're like, man, I am going to like have all my peeps there and everything. And they weren't. And again, that's okay. Still love them, but they could only do so much. So, but everybody did do something for me, and I appreciate them doing that. So don't get me wrong. But I was speaking with my therapist, and I said, yeah, so I graduate, and I guess it's okay. And she had to tell me, Variable, like, no, this is a big deal, man. You should really think more about this. Like, you started something and you finished it, and you had things that were working to go against you in these, right? Like everything didn't work out in your favor with this. You were working, and then you had a baby, and then you went back to work and you switched jobs, and so you've done all of these things while simultaneously still working towards your degree, while still trying to get that degree that you set out to get that has eluded you, right? And so you should celebrate this, because this is actually a really, really big deal. And again, it took her to tell me that for me to be convinced to say, yeah, I guess you're right, which again doesn't really make much sense, because I should be celebrating, because it was a big deal. I did something that I wanted to do, obviously, since I was, a young boy, and something that I never thought I would be able to do, because I thought life just kept getting in the way of it. So I use that as an example to say, I know there are things that we all try to, try to like minimize about ourselves. We try to sweep them under the rug. We try to dim our light, so to speak, right? And there are times for that. There are times when it's not about you. It's not your celebration. It's not your party. It's not your achievement. There are times for that. And hopefully you can be there to support somebody else. But when it's your time, that's why they say it's your time to shine. because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to dim your light at that moment. You're supposed to shine, right? So hopefully, we will have a great discussion about how we can make this our time to shine. So let's do this. Let's go to break. Shout out to my man, always live in Atlanta. Just ask me a question. Hey, no Mental Health Monday? Yes, we're having Mental Health Monday. We don't need Miss JaNeen here for it to be Mental Health Monday because we're talking about our mental health right now and how we celebrate ourselves. But Miss JaNeen is going to be available coming back from the break. So let's go to a break. Let's do some music, go to break, and then we'll come back and we'll have Miss JaNeen on, and then we will get back into our topic right here on The Morning Rise with the Variable Y on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7.
DJ Durant!
Hey, Castro, go crazy.
Yeah, so we gone. Stop. We good. Stop. Chill. We on. Chill. Scale. Let's go. Let's go. Domingo. Let's go. Take. Let's go. Set. Let's roll. Straightening. 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 Yeah. Straightening. 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 Yeah, don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. You don't get straight, you don't straighten it. In this game, sit back, be patient. Gang, act like the game went vacant. Act like some been taken. What? Ain't nothing but a little bit of straightening. Been kicking, popping out daily. On the island, it's a movie I'm making. I'm counting the narrows with Robert De Niro. He telling them that you're amazing. Put that on. Get on. I bought 2 whips and I put my boot on. She put this wrist on. She factory said it went rich and meal prone. Turn a pandemic into a pandemic. You know that we on. Yes, sir. Them gon' pull up and L it. This together won't get what you homes. I don't do the fake kicking. No. There go a rocket, it's taking it. It's a problem with you, then we straightening it. Swap out the cap, put a demon in it. Upgrade the band up, put fiends in it. I got some shooters you ain't seen with me. We're running back, I just seen tenant. We gonna get straight. Straightening, straightening, straightening. Yeah, straightening, straightening, straightening. Yeah, don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. You don't get straight, you don't straighten it.
You don't get straight if you don't straighten it. No, I'm the type to sit back and watch patient. Do a trick with the stick, it's amazing. In the bando, chopping out bacon. Lows on like I'm starting in the Matrix. I keep the cookie like my grandma made it. I get the keys and the pounds and the babies. And the bricks came white like shady. Drive the Lambo through the avenue. Pretty little pretty with an attitude. Give a shout out to them white boys. All white rolls look radical. Keep you a fire, don't let them take it. If they get charged, you gotta get straight. I got your op, I give them a facelift. My niggas lurking and spending the day shift. I got them rat when you see me. Rack A's. Spin back to back, it's a repeat. Spin. Championship, it's a 3P. Shoot out the window like Drizzy and Freaky. I keep it on me, believe me. Yes, sir. I be up high where the trees be. I go and put on so much of this ice. They say don't touch me, you gon' freeze me.
Straightening, straightening, straightening. Yeah, straightening, straightening, straightening. Yeah, don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. You don't get straight, you don't straighten.
Get my straightening. Automatic handgun like the Navy. I keep 100 round drum, ain't fading. Turn it to a mummy with a payment. Terminate with the money, it was grave. Spin an op block, rock about baby. Made it talk stop, made it mama hate me. We were trapping at the spot, out the base. That's man in your devil, we spin on your block. Spin. I pop a perk and I'm gone berserk, and I woke up and bought me a job. Straight to the point, I get straight to the straight, and your buddy, he can't even walk. We gutted them, nobody talk. We gutted new color, then start to fall. New traveling and hustling, beat down the wall. On with the stepper, Northside rapper. Quickie for Mac in the back of the Tesla. On with the gang, we can never be selfish. Watch how I dress, I'm the dripping professor. Saw the kill tech, then I bought a compressor. Time to press them, eat them for breakfast. Taught them a lesson, I'm never confessing. Never my message, somebody stretch them.
Straightening, straightening, straightening. Yeah, straightening, straightening, straightening. Yeah, don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. Don't nothing get straightening but straightening. You don't get straight, you don't straighten it. Don't nothing get straightening. Yeah, don't nothing get straightening but straightening. You feel me? I don't know what y'all think going on out there, but you know what I mean? We straight, we straight, we straight, we straight, Sue, 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 we gone.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Now is a great time for all people to focus on their cardiovascular health. The Division for Heart Disease and Stroke Prevention is shining a light on hypertension, high blood pressure, as a leading risk factor for heart disease and stroke. The division is committed to addressing barriers to health equality in communities disproportionately affected by cardiovascular disease. Healthcare professionals and community partners, we know you're busy. We can help. Use these toolkits developed by the CDC to implement evidence-based hypertension control strategies. Healthcare professionals, identify patients with hypertension. Incorporate lessons learned from successful stories. Share messages and graphics with your care teams to help patients control their hypertension. Public health professionals, read and incorporate evidence-based policy tools and guides into your organization. Link to data and maps that highlight the burden of hypertension and successful intervention. Share messages and graphics with individuals and patients in your social network. Individuals and patients, share patient-friendly resources in your clinics and virtual waiting rooms. Link to plain language educational resources to help people learn about high blood pressure. Copy social messages and graphics and share them with individuals and patients in your social networks. For more information, please visit cdc.gov/heart disease.
I don't hesitate, 'cause the West is cold.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You can say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Are you thinking of changing your marketing strategy? 106 Live Radio is the solution you need to promote your goods and services. For a limited time only, we are offering special advertising rates on our fast-growing radio network. We can also help you create an audio commercial or a website banner that fits your business needs. It is just that simple. Visit our website at 106liveradio.com for details.
Bringing you the best shows and music 24/7 on your favorite radio. It's 106liveradio.com.
Cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. I'm Luke Skywalking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come, heroes that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. I'm outstanding, so I stand out. More babes than a bathhouse. Top Gun, I'm a Tom Cruise. Play for keeps and I don't lose. You're more than love it, cause it's cool as a breeze. So pick a poison, yeah, I got what you need. Nonchalant, got the green on rotation all night. We gon' keep it psychedelic like a cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. Blue sky walking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come to those that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Wildin' on my haters. In my 23s, having a Jordan moment. Wildin' with the paper. Ice all on my chain. I just popped 2 up, you staying up. Hanging with the gang, that's dangerous. I can pick you with my chain, you should take a look. Yeah. Come and catch a wave, take one out my cup. Yeah. Damn the OG, yeah. Damn the police. Wildin' in SV, yeah. Moving up your street. When we on the creek, can't be sand to the beach. Ain't no day, ain't no night, make no plans, ain't no sleep. Cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. Blue sky walking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come to those that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. I was losing, but I'm better now. All games I've been wrapping up. With the dead, the bull like a matador. Right now I'm higher up in Canada. Cap in a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. Blue sky walking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come to those that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Ooh.
We're digging in the crates. It's Throwback Thursday on your favorite radio, 106liveradio.com.
Yes, and we are back right here on the Morning Rise with the Variable Y on 106liveradio.com. Yes, I know. I had the wrong thing in there. I know. I thought I had the right one, but no, I had the wrong one. Thank you so much, Always Live in Atlanta, for pointing out my shortcomings. I appreciate you bringing light to that. Now, we have got our special guest who is here, and we are going to talk some mental health today with her. Now that she's finally here. Good morning, Miss JaNeen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We are glad that you are in with us today. And have you had an opportunity to listen to the show, or do you want to know what we are talking about today?
No, I have been tuning in, and I love the idea of celebrating yourself. Love that you were able to experience, some celebrations that kind of sparked the reminder that this matters. So yeah, no, awesome.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I was telling them earlier, like, yeah, so what brought this to my attention was the fact that we had this party over the weekend. I didn't even ask you how your weekend was. We'll get into that. But we had this celebration over the weekend, and it was like a party. And it wasn't just for my mother-in-law, but I do feel like it was something that my mother-in-law needed. And so, in essence, it was kind of for her, which is great, because I think that I think that we as people don't really take a lot of time to do a lot of celebrating of ourselves, and really allow us to be real and authentic about how we feel, and those things are important. So I was happy to be a part of that, and I'm glad that it sparked this conversation that we are having right now. So so in just a little bit of time before we do our top of the hour break, can you speak to the fact that well, not even speak to, can you tell us about how important it is that we do celebrate these moments in our lives? And have you seen anybody, or have you talked to anybody who doesn't really get those opportunities, or who's not giving themselves those opportunities, and just how much of a burden that can be on somebody?
Definitely. It's one of those that, and that's why I'm kind of glad that you decided on this topic, because it's something that we can forget to do. And I have seen people who, it's almost as if we have such high expectations of ourselves that even when we do things that are noteworthy, that are worthy of celebration, it often feels like it's still not enough. We're always moving right on to the next thing. Okay, so I did that. Great. Check that box. What's next? And I think that we can really forget to cherish the accomplishments, to honor the accomplishments and the work that went into them, when we achieve something. And so there are a lot of people that do struggle with celebrating themselves. And I think that celebrating yourself is really important, because it reminds you that you're worth it. It reminds you that your energy was worth it, your effort was worth it, and that your achievements matter. So yeah, if that's something that people are struggling with, then that's definitely something that I think that could be really helpful to change your perspective, is really celebrating and honoring the things that you've done.
Good. Yes. Because because there are too many times when especially recently, right? I think there are too many times when we get so bogged down into our stuff that we don't realize just how much is going on around us, and how much we are achieving and overcoming, right? Again, in 2020 and 2021, people are out here buying homes and getting married and having children and graduating from college and doing all these great things. And yet, people will sit back and say, yeah, well, I mean, I guess I did, I did what I had to do. And yeah, I mean, I guess I did that. But no, like we should feel, we should feel more comfortable celebrating. We should feel more comfortable saying, well, yes, I did something that I said I was going to do, and I stuck with it. I showed great tenacity. I showed great perseverance to go through all of that, and to come out and have and have achieved that. So I want you to I want you to talk, like, where does that, I guess, that self-doubt, like, when you see that, or have you studied that? Like, I want to talk more about where that may be coming from, and how we can move past that. But we got the top of the hour break coming up right now, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to come right back right here on the Morning Rise of the Variable Y, Miss JaNeen on 106liveradio.com.
106 R&B and throwbacks on 106 Live Radio. Atlanta's music leader. This is the Morning Rise. Now broadcasting weekdays from 6 to 10 on 106 R&B and throwbacks. 106 R&B and throwbacks.
We are back right here on the Morning Rise with the Variable Y and Miss JaNeen on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. So, Miss JaNeen, like I was saying, can you speak to just where this whole, or I guess in your opinion, I guess, could you give us like some insight as to where this whole, I guess, I don't know, self doubt or where this comes from, where we don't really get as much of an opportunity to uh, just take some time to sit back and to think about what we've done and to celebrate ourselves. Can you speak to where this is coming from, or just how much you have seen this and what you do to help people move past this?
Sure. Well, it comes from a lot of different places. And so the stories can be different for different people. For some of us, it started early in life, potentially because we weren't celebrated, sometimes often given unrealistic expectations of achievement, right? So if you came home with 95 and what your parents said was, where are the other 5 points? Like, why is this not 100? Then, again, we can start to feel like unless it's perfect and unless we've reached the pinnacle, it's not worthy of celebrating. And so some of us got that message growing up. For some of us, it's just we set expectations for ourselves. They're just like, this is what I'm supposed to do. So there's no celebration warranted because this is just what I'm supposed to do. This is my expectation of myself. And so this doesn't deserve celebration. And unfortunately, all of those things can be really detrimental to our sense of self. It can chip away at our sense of self because we're not acknowledging the things that we've done, which makes us often feel like it's never enough, right? You've never done enough, you've never accomplished enough, you've never achieved enough to make it worth celebrating. And so one of the things that I talk to clients about when I recognize this, I have a lot of clients that we actually keep what I call a small wins journal. And that's where I teach them to try to focus on what are the things you did well. Like what were the moments where, you could have made a bad choice, but you made a good choice? What were the moments that you didn't feel like it, but you pushed through? Or what were the moments that you felt like you had to, but you gave yourself permission to rest? Like whatever the goals are, what we do is start tracking what are the small wins that we can now in session celebrate and discuss so that you can start to see how great you are and stop just looking at the things about you that are imperfect.
Nice. I like that. The small wins journal, I think that's a great idea. Gives us something to write down and actually go back and actually look at and say, oh yeah, I did do that. I did achieve something. I was able to set my mind to a goal and was able to execute that and actually get all the way done with the goal that I was wanting to achieve. So yes, I really appreciate that. I love the fact that I love how that's happening. That is something that is really awesome. My man, always live in Atlanta, he put something out and he was like, hey, nothing wrong with celebrating yourself. I'm in a transitional phase of celebrating my up and coming adoption, and if that goes well next week, I will be able to celebrate with a new home. So him in a new home. So yes, congratulations to our friend always live in Atlanta. Definitely good luck, brother. We hope that everything goes well. We got the studio audience giving you an applause. So yes, man, celebrate. And if everything goes well, we'll definitely celebrate with you. That is awesome. But yes, I really like how you put that. I like the information that you gave. If you have an opportunity to look at the achievements that you've had, if you have an opportunity to actually look at them on paper and see, oh my gosh, I did do what I set out to do. I did achieve what I was looking for. That gives you more of a time to celebrate yourself, right? Because I think that, or maybe I'll just speak for myself. I think that so much of it goes into, yes, I did it, but it's not exactly what I thought it would look like. And I want it to be what I want it to be what I thought it would look like. So then I feel like it's worthy of celebrating, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Okay.
And that's happening a lot. One of the things that I found, one of the reasons that I know this topic is so necessary is because of the fact that most of the time when I assign this exercise, the first step is they come back and they're like, I didn't really have any wins. And we have to talk back through their week and what things look like so I can point out to them the wins. And then the next step is typically, if you think it's a win, write it down. And if you decide maybe it's not, cross it out. And that way I get them to still acknowledge it and write it down. So when we talk in session, I talk to them about why they should not have crossed that out, why that actually is a win, why that is an accomplishment, why that should belong on your small wins list. But the fact that I very often, almost every time I do this exercise, we have to go through those steps before they even get to the point that they can see their win, tells you how necessary it is.
Yes, no, that is like, as I was saying it, I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, that's it. Because again, like, it's something that I've done, right? And I was telling the example of the graduation I had a couple of years ago. And again, it was an achievement like years and years in the making, right? And I did it. Like, I was like, okay, well, and after going and trying and attempting so many times, you get used to the not achieving of it. And so then you look back and you say, hey, okay, well, let me see what else I need to do, because this can't be the end, right? There's got to be something else, because there's always something else, right? And then you get to the end and you're like, no, I'm finally going to do this. I'm really about to do it. And again, it just did not look the way I wanted it to look. So it did kind of seem a little bit, a little bit disappointing. It brought me down just a tad bit. But again, like I said, with talking with my therapist, the fact that no, I was able to actually set a goal and set out to do something, and I should very much applaud that. And those are things that we're going to work on, because I'm sure there are things now that I'm going to say, yeah, I mean, it's okay. And she's probably going to have to remind me that no, that's not how this started out. Like, you started out with an idea, and then you worked on it and you made it into something. So don't minimize that. Go out and give yourself a pat on the back for this while you're preparing for the next stage. This is a big deal. So enjoy it and celebrate it, and get ready for the next step. But that doesn't mean you have to miss out on the celebration, on the enjoyment of it.
I love that. And I think you used the perfect word, and that's minimize, because that's often what we do with the things, with our accomplishments, right? With the goals that we set and reach, and even the work that we do towards those goals before we've reached it, right? I was working with a client once, and we were talking about fitness, and she was wanting to get back into healthiness condition. And so she set a goal for herself about how often she was going to work out and how much time for each workout. And so when we met again, she didn't quite hit the goal. And we had to talk to the fact of, well, did you do more this week than you did last week? Well, yeah. Well, then that's a win. And hopefully next week we'll do a little bit more. Just because we didn't hit the nail on the head doesn't mean that we have to minimize or dismiss what we did do. And it deserves to be honored and celebrated. So, keep moving. It doesn't mean stop here. But just because you have further to go doesn't mean you can't celebrate how far you've already come.
And I think that's it. I think that's it right there. I think that is it right there. Keep moving. Don't stop here. But just because you've got so much further to go doesn't mean you haven't gotten anywhere. It doesn't mean that you haven't done anything or accomplished anything. You've actually accomplished what you set out to do. And, of course, now, like everything else, okay, well, I've made a list. I've started checking some things off of the list. So, of course, you add new things to the list, but it doesn't mean that you should not take the time to actually look back and be proud of what you've done. Exactly. Be proud of the fact that you've made it this far, because again, everybody doesn't get to do that. So now let's do some music, and then we are going to come back because I want to talk about some of the smaller things that we celebrate. Well, not smaller, but some of the other things that we celebrate, right? Like, of course, big things, like you said, your client had the weight loss goal, homes, graduations, those things. But what about some of the other things that I still think we should celebrate? And I'm gonna tell you a little story. I don't know if you heard it about what Nicole said yesterday when she was up here, and I told her about the topic. So, and I want to get your opinion on that, because I want to know what you think exactly about that. So let's do some music, and then we are going to come back right after the break. And then we're going to talk some more about that right here on the Morning Rise with the Variable Y and Miss JaNeen on 106liveradio.com.
I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. Things I don't understand. Sometimes I need to be alone. Trick don't kill my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe.
I can feel your energy from 2 planets away. I got my drink, I got my music, I will share it. But today I'm feeling trick don't kill my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe.
Look inside of my soul and you can find gold and maybe get rich. Hold up, Trinidad James in 4 weeks, but now my album platinum-ish. So what? Y'all keep the numbers. I'm more than another statistic, man. This courtesy of Compton. Brooklyn go hard, motherfucker. Love me on the east like I'm Chuck D. Dominicans wish that I was born there. I'm looking to be the God MC. You look at my hat and see thorns there. I look at the game and see porn there. I'm fucking this industry hard. I'm back at this money, teabagging yo honey. You thought I was fresh off the yard. Don't brag to me, dummy, you're lightweight. They tell me you're nice and I'm lightweight. Go get me a knife, you're looking like steak. And when the stakes are high, I stake out for days. And when the water resides, your body full shape. But we ain't thirsty, never alert me. I got a B89 in a suitcase. I know you heard me. This is a burpee. Lyrical exercise. Right now, homie, I'm in the extra vibe. Pipe down on the curve when you heard that I got these words to the upper echelon. That's excellent.
I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. Things I don't understand. Sometimes I need to be alone. Trick don't kill my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe.
I can feel your energy from 2 planets away. I got my drink, I got my music, I will share it. But today I'm feeling trick don't kill my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe.
Trick don't kill my vibe. Trick don't kill my vibe.
Up in the clouds, me and my spouse. Rumors on the ground getting too loud, we turn them shit down. Can't hear myself think. Turbulent shit, almost spilled my drink in the whitest with a mink. Running through that like it's my house, all up in the hall like a mall. Told you, motherfuckers, all I do is ball. No, I don't remember you, I don't intend to empty my memory bank. It's $1 million in it, baby, Hillary Swank. Sitting next to Hillary, smelling like gang. Presidential pardon, name one thing out there harder than them. I wait. I've been in my wave like 20 years straight. I've been on my vibe like 20 years straight. Don't fuck up my high, fuck up my high. Nights like this, I can fuck up a pie and still be straight, still be straight. Fall back, got a lot on my plate, don't waste my breath. I don't know how many moves I got left. Back to this joint. Smoking this shit like I'm trying to prove a point. I'm the highest title, numero uno. Kill my fire, that's your mother funeral.
Between you and me, turn eulogy to urinals. Pissed off. I'm in this edition, erasing my fault. Leader of the new school. On my toes like a ballerina who knew I'd be Black Swan. Word in my palms, ironically, I am the Globetrotter's best because I didn't drop the ball. Told when I was 16 that I read a 16 to put it right on the big screen. In a petty wagon with 16. Should have been in the pen, but now my pen rang with morphine. I healed it. Touchdown with morphines, I killed it. Audio crack, cat keys to meal ticket. Cardio lap was running for dead life, but now running the map. Picture little old me giving a from what I gotta say. Never be Jay, never be Nas, never be Snoop, nor Dre. You ain't get killed in Vegas or in a Suburban. Puff Daddy wasn't your favorite. So many washed up with detergent, but I don't dry tears. I just aim at them on purpose like blah. Then I'm 14 like blah. If they had another magazine like blah, then a young guy get blah. I kill them all when they tryna kill my blah. I am the bad, the good guy, the last, the hood got the last that would try to pass a good job. And Sean's a Black Beetle, then I need a 10-second drum solo. See at Woodstock.
We're taking you all the way back. With the greatest old school hits on 106liveradio.com.
Let's do this.
back right here on the Morning Rise with the Variable Y on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. So now, Miss JaNeen, I want to know. So we talked about celebrating. We talked about celebrating, big events, big accomplishments. Shout out to our guy always live in Atlanta, who's got some big accomplishments going on, big events going on in his life. So we talked about those things, right? And celebrating those things because again, those things are huge. Those things are major, and those are things that we should all really pay attention to and really celebrate. Now, what about some things that maybe aren't quite as big and major, and maybe not quite as noteworthy, but things that things that people should celebrate anyway? And I guess what brought this up was, like I said, when I told Nicole about this topic, and you guys know Swiss Army Knife, our admin up here, Nicole, who does everything. When I told Nicole about this topic, she was like, "Oh yes, this is great because I want people to make sure that they're aware that I'm all about the celebration. My birthday is coming up, and I celebrate my birthday every year. I had it, I had it written into my contract that we're gonna celebrate my birthday, and if I couldn't do it, then I wasn't gonna accept the job. All of this stuff, right? And like, so what about those type of things to celebrate, right? Like, not something that is considered a major life achievement, but something that is still important, right? Like, I mean, yes, it's a birthday. Yes, everybody has them, but everybody doesn't have this birthday, right? Everybody this year didn't have whatever birthday this would have been, right? So, there is still a piece that I think that we're missing where, it's okay to not minimize even that, like even the small things, or the things that are you centric. Like, there are opportunities for us again to be comfortable and to be okay celebrating ourselves, and it not seem like this big grand selfish act. You know what I mean? Like, is that something that you see, or is what I'm saying maybe I'm just reaching a little bit?
No, I think you're accurate. Like, I think, with birthdays and things, some people just feel differently. Some people feel like, you didn't really do anything, but I do feel like, hey, I lived another year, especially in this day and age. With everything that's going on, I think, surviving another year, making it through another year, sane, still functioning, I think that you have the right to celebrate that. And they're not, the thing is, not everyone's going to agree, right? Because people have their own stuff and their own issues. So if they don't celebrate themselves, they might not understand you celebrating you. And for them, it may look selfish. But so what? That's them. And so if that's what you decide to do for you, I think you should give yourself permission for that. Because the next birthday isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like you said, there are people who didn't make it to their birthday last year. And so, I think it deserves to be celebrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the next birthday isn't guaranteed. Like, a lot of this stuff, we take that for granted, but yeah, that's true. And again, there are, and it's kind of morbid to think about, but it's also true. Like, there are people who you make it to a certain age and people didn't see this age, right? Especially us as Black men, like with all these cops out here. Hell, I mean, making it to another day is really an achievement, because I did drive my car today, so me not getting pulled over, and oh, he's still here, sprinkle some crack on him, let's get out of here. That not happening to me is an achievement. And so if enough of those happen to where I see my birthday this year, then doggone it, I'm gonna celebrate. And we're all making it to these ages. I would like to think that I don't necessarily look my age. If it wasn't for this gray, you probably couldn't tell how old I was. And so that in itself is something to celebrate. And again, just like you said, making it to this stage in life, still being what I think would be considered somewhat sane, is a win. And I think that we should all take our wins where we get them, because why not? And I guess when we get back, I really want to talk more about why don't we, right? Like what, and you touched on it briefly, and I guess I want to just get a little more into that because I do find that interesting. And maybe it's some stuff, maybe it's something in all of us that we can all agree with, and we can all get some stuff going in our minds to where we're like, oh, okay, so that's what that is. So we're gonna take a break, and then we'll come right back, and then we will get back into this topic some more right here on the Morning Rise of the Variable Y and Miss JaNeen on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Educating parents and caregivers about the importance of making oral hygiene a priority at every age is essential. Anytime is a good time to talk about nutrition, brushing habits, flossing, and the importance of fluoride. Families that follow good oral health together are more likely to inspire children to adopt healthy habits that last a lifetime. Please visit www.adha.org/NCDHM for more information. This message was sponsored by Dre Patrick, host of Foreign Matters, every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 106liveradio.com.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You can say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Are you thinking of changing your marketing strategy? 106 Live Radio is the solution you need to promote your goods and services. For a limited time only, we are offering special advertising rates on our fast-growing radio network. We can also help you create an audio commercial or a website banner that fits your business needs. It is just that simple. Visit our website at 106liveradio.com for details.
Bringing you the best shows and music 24/7 on your favorite radio. It's 106liveradio.com.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Something real. Something you can feel. That's right. Straight from the Suave House. Bad boy. Representing. No doubt, baby. Putting a little soul in here. And we won't stop. No one has to ask who be acting bad. A-Ball and MJ Pimpin' GB all up in that. From Memphis 10 around the world and then back again. Make none rapping, we can see go home practicing. I flip a Benz with Lorenz and plenty Benjamins. Low key, plenty ends, makes plenty friends. Baby, I got all the herbs that I need to cheat. Smoke up a pound and leave you in disbelief. Inhale the smoke and every word I wrote it came out dope. Not like that crack, I mean lyrical dope above tracks. Not saying I won't pull the Ruger and put hollow through ya. Have your mama on her knees screaming hallelujah. Lay it down, play a Suave House bad boy. Fat boy, ain't afraid to rap the tab boy. Matter of fact, boy, this is not an act, boy. The play away, keep a player making stacks, boy. Yeah. Everything that I do be all about the loot. I be kicking up dust in my polo boots. Getting on the road, taking smoke up my nose. I give the world to a woman, but I don't love. I'm a player, baby, and don't you forget, you need to get with. Let me hit it and split in the bed, on the floor, hot tub every day. I'm a player.
Now on, break it on, can't stop. I'm too hot, look, shit, my rock hype, man, be in the drop. Me don't care if the bees be tinted, you won't see me in it, that's the TV's in it. I could tell by the way you talk and the way you chit-chat, you foul. And if you at thous, you ain't get back, you thinking you're invincible. You ain't hard to get at, I know everywhere you go, everywhere you live at. I be one to click clack and you be ready to get back. I be ready to go to war, you ain't gonna be with that. You be the same cat that I run up on and spit at, bleeding all crazy and don't know where you hit at. I'm dead up. Doing drama, better shut up. I'm fed up. No, for my rollie, I was set up. I can't let up. You in some that don't concern you. Send a through your thermal. You know crazy.
Everything you know that I do be all about the loot. I be kicking up dust in my polo boots. Getting on the road, taking up my nose. I give the world to a woman, but I don't love. I'm a player, baby, and don't you forget, you need to get with. Let me hit it and split in the bed, on the floor, hot tub every day. The play away, the play away.
I've been waiting 20 minutes, baby. Now drop your draw and do something outstanding with your jaws. After all this waiting, I can see clean through your forehead. You more said than done. Give more than some. Throw my jacket down in the puddle. Hell no. If you don't know a pimp, somebody best to tell y'all. Yeah, the women say it's good to have a confidant, but yet and still they give it up to pimps. Once a month, see a lot of these pimp lovers. They took being front like they real and hold a fake in. You wasting the time. Serious ballers and ready. Got my women walking dips on the strip with steady toes as I fold up. Regulars thinking of bigger financial expertise. Plenty money working for G and whoever next to me. And I ain't gonna rest till we made a statement. I'm straight up, you watered down, it's time for a replacement.
Everything that I do be all about the loot. I be kicking up dust in my polo boots. Getting blowed on the road, taking up my nose. I give the world to a woman, but I don't love. I'm a player, baby, and don't you forget. You need to get with it. Let me hit it and split in the bed, on the floor, hot tub every day. The play away, the play away. Everything that I do be all about the loot. I be kicking up dust in my polo boots. Getting blowed on the road, taking up my nose. I give the world to a woman, now you got I'm a player, baby, and don't Suave you forget. You need to get with it. Let me hit it over here in the bed, on the floor, hot tub every day. The player.
Instead of feuding and fighting, they're getting money together like true players do. All the time, you know. United we stand, divided we fall. Bad boy Suave House. One of the many connections we gonna make. It's Black Entrepreneur.
We're taking you all the way back. With the greatest old school hits on 106liveradio.com.
Yes, we are. And we're back right here on the Morning Rise with the Variable Y on 106liveradio.com. We still have Miss JaNeen in the building. Thank you so much again, Miss JaNeen, for joining us today. And we were talking going into the break, I should say. And we were saying that, there are times where we have the opportunity to celebrate ourselves and celebrate some other things that maybe some people It's not a big deal to some people, but it's a big deal to us. So, what do you see when you are talking to people? What do you see? What do you see are some of the things that, and we've already talked about, like what may be stopping you, like, maybe you were, maybe you had like a parent who didn't really celebrate your achievements, who minimized your achievements. Maybe there were some other things that minimized your achievements. But are there any other factors out there that we aren't looking into, that we need to address, or anything that just we need to remember when it comes to being celebratory of ourselves?
Well, you actually touched on another one a little bit earlier, and that is kind of the public perception. The idea of not wanting to seem self-indulgent or, self-centered. And so sometimes that can be a hindrance for us in the idea of celebrating ourselves, is that we don't want people to see us as being full of ourselves or, getting a big head. And so sometimes we will dim ourselves for other people's comfort. We don't want to seem like we're rubbing it in people's face. And so there are a lot of reasons for the social acceptance. We will not celebrate ourselves in the way that we feel we should or would like to.
So, and I guess you kind of answered it, but how does that translate into us, not completely, but how does that translate into us really diminishing ourselves with our opportunity to celebrate ourselves, right? Like, how does not wanting to have the public conception, public perception, I should say, excuse me, of not wanting to be perceived as a egomaniac, how does that translate into us not completely, but into us, dimming our light, into us not making ourselves as much of the priority as we make other things and other people?
Well, there's always, if I do something for someone else, right? If I throw someone else a surprise party and make it just over the top extravagant, right? Like, caviar and, champagne and.
I'm gonna tell y'all a caviar story later, but okay.
But, if I go over the top celebrating somebody else, that's seen as a selfless and thoughtful act. If I do throw that same party for myself, it can often be seen as, again, self-indulgent. Like, almost energy of, who you think you are, doing all of this. And so I think there are sometimes that other people, our fear of how other people will receive it can make us kind of dim our light, not celebrate the way that we want to, not make a big deal out of it, because we're afraid of how people will respond. There are people who can be afraid of how people will respond.
Okay. I can see that, because like you said, the fear of seeming too too self-indulgent does kind of make you want to say, no, I don't think I'll do that. Like, this seems a little bit too much. Because there are people who can, there are people who can take away some of your light, I guess you could say, right? Like, you're not necessarily going to dim yourself, but there are some people who are going to take away from it, and that's not really what the spirit of it was, right? So again, the spirit is just, hey, I don't get a chance to do this often, or I don't feel like this gets done enough to my liking, so I am going to celebrate myself. I'm gonna make it about me. It's my birthday. I'm making it about me. It's our anniversary. I'm making it about me. Us, I should say. It's our anniversary. I'm making it about me. I'm about to graduate or whatever. And so how have you helped people? And I know you said the journal, right? And the journal is good for people to understand their own achievements, right? But how do you help people actually recognize the fact that it's okay to celebrate themselves, and that it's important to celebrate themselves, especially if nobody else will celebrate them?
It's interesting because I use the tool that I just talked about, which is that I just kind of modeled, which is I asked them if this were someone else, right? I typically use a person that's in their life. If this were your child, if this were your brother or your sister who had done this, would you feel like this should be celebrated? And often when they externalize it, when they look at it from a perspective that's not them, they often recognize, oh wow, this is kind of a big deal. Like if someone else had done this, I would think it was a big deal. So, why is it that it's not a big deal when I do it? And that usually can help them get past that feeling of minimizing and dismissing, so that they can actually get to honoring what they've done and, celebrating their accomplishments.
Do they teach you guys that in therapist school? Because I feel like that is kind of the same thing that I went through. I was telling the story earlier. I don't know if you're able to hear it or not, but I graduated a couple of years ago in 2020, and I was supposed to graduate in May of 2020, which is what, 2 months after the pandemic broke out, and and that didn't work, and that kind of threw me into this really not depressed, but it kind of took my mojo away from this accomplishment. And then I went back to see my therapist and then told her everything that was going on, and she's like, oh wow, this is really good. And I was like, yeah, but it's not really the way I want it to be, or it doesn't really look the way I want it to look, so it doesn't really seem like a big deal. And she kind of did the same thing. Well, if somebody else were doing it, would you make a big deal out of it for them? Well, yeah, of course I would. and before I could even say yes, it was kind of like, oh, okay, all right, I get what you're saying. So
I see where you're going with it.
I see where you're going. So in therapist school, that's what they teach you guys. Okay, cool.
Hey, it works.
It works.
If it works, if it ain't broke.
If it ain't broke. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, hey, definitely appreciate you, even though we had you only for a limited time today. Definitely appreciate you being here with us today. Do we have anything else we would need to do before we let you go? Because I know you got clients who are waiting. So do we have anything else we need to do before we let you go?
No, I thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your patience. This was a rough start this morning, and so I know my time on was limited today. So I thank you for your patience and your understanding as I, sometimes have to navigate the personal and the professional.
No worries, ma'am. No worries. That is why we've got you here. We got you here to be a part of the show, and we just appreciate you for coming on. And we will take your great advice anytime we can get it, because it's much better than me coming out here with my cockamamie ideas of what's going on. We actually have a professional coming on, so I would take the professional any day of the week. So, all right. So let's let you give your information in case anybody wants to reach out to you, or in case anybody needs to either see you or any other therapist.
All right. Well, if anyone has any topics that you'd like to discuss on the show, if you need support, please feel free to reach out to me. You can hit me on social media, and that is JaNeen Molborn, JaNeen MOLBORN, at the different social media outlets. You can also reach me on my website at aconduitofhealing.com.
All right. We got Miss JaNeen. Thank you again so much for being a part of the show today. We appreciate you coming on. Like, anytime we can get you, we appreciate having you. And we will have you back on Wednesday. That's all the applause you get because you didn't do the full show. But we'll have you back on Wednesday. And hopefully we can get you to a whole show that time.
All right. Sounds good. I'm hoping the same.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. You have a great day. Okay.
Thanks, you too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. All right, people. That was your favorite Miss JaNeen, who was here with us today to help us talk about our Mental Health Monday topic. Again, celebrating ourselves for our achievements. It is very, very important, and it is a good thing to take the time out to celebrate ourselves. One thing she said that I think is really, really important is that we celebrate everybody else, right? We'll celebrate our children. We'll celebrate our families. We'll celebrate our, loved ones. We'll celebrate everybody else. And then for some reason, we feel like it's a little over the top or self-indulgent to celebrate ourselves. I think we need to change that, because we've got to learn that it's okay. It's okay to celebrate us. Even if we don't have anybody else who will, we've got ourselves here. You know, we can celebrate ourselves. So that was some great stuff from her, some great stuff from me, obviously. And let's do a song, and then let's come back and wrap the show up right here on the Morning Rise with the Variable Y on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7.
Boy, you won't tell you twice. I'm a thief for the night. I did some wrong, but I'm always right. Said I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night. Look, if I call you babe, you babe for the day, or babe for the night. You not my wife. She wanna kill her, so all night. I wanna give me all night. AP, big rocks, in the hood with the realest. 5K on the dinner, bring 300 down to the dealer. I did some wrong, but I'm always right. Said I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night.
I'm rich, but I'm riding. I'm low on exotic. I'm about to fly out and go get me some. Nothing ain't sweet. All this money on me. On the rats in the bag, that's 100 bucks. Baby OG, I've been running these streets. Got the game from the shine on my mama's son. Learned about the triple cross when I was young, and I know I ain't going, so I keep a gun. I flew to Paris just to buy some Dior. She begging for attention, I don't see her. CIP pop, I wish that you could see us. Me and Cash Plus whenever I go real. I got some in the street won't beat me. I got the industry trying to beat me. I just go Ray Charles, they can't see me. I'm in a Rolls Royce with
I did some wrong, but I'm always right. So I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night.
Yeah, like a thief in the night. I pull up, give it for the night. Tryna be aside. We can't my seats cause they white. I'm living like Thriller, I only come out at the nighttime. She don't with liquor, don't like being tipsy. She don't do the Henny, just white wine. Pop the cork on some new Pinot Grigio. I pull up in the Porsche with a freakin'. Park the Porsche and pull up in the Lambo. I hop out Major Payne rockin' camo. Then she cute, make let a man go. Like you shoot, light you up, them Rambo. Cuban link full of rocks, it's a choke. Rest in peace to the pop, make me smoke.
I did some wrong, but I'm always right. So I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night. Boy, you won't tell you twice. I'm a thief in the night. I did some wrong, but I'm always right. Said I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night. Look, if I call you babe, you babe for the day, or babe for the night. You not my wife. She wanna kill her, so all night. I wanna give me all night. AP, big rocks, in the hood with the realest. 5K on the dinner, bring 300 down to the dealer. I did some wrong, but I'm always right. Said I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night.
I'm rich, but I'm riding. I'm low on exotic. I'm about to fly out and go get me some. Nothing ain't sweet. All this money on me. On the rats in the bag, that's 100 bucks. Baby OG, I've been running these streets, got the game from the shine on my mama's son. Learned about the triple cross when I was young, and I know I ain't going, so I keep a gun. I flew to Paris just to buy some Dior. She begging for attention, I don't see her. See how people pop, I wish that you can see us. Me and Cash Plus whenever I go real. I got some in the street won't beat me. I got the industry trying to beat me. I just go Ray Charles, they can't see me. I'm in a Rolls Royce with a
I did some wrong, but I'm always right. So I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night.
Yeah, like a thief in the night. I pull up, give it for the night. Tryna be inside. We can't my seats cause they white. I'm living like Thriller, I only come out at the nighttime. She don't with liquor, don't like being tipsy. She don't do the Henny, just white wine. Pop the cork on some new Pinot Grigio. I pull up in the Porsche with a freakin'. Park the Porsche and pull up in the Lambo. I hop out Major Payne rockin' camo. Then she cute, make a let a man go. Like you shoot, light you up, them Rambo. Cuban link full of rocks, it's a choke. Rest in peace to the pop, make me smoke you.
I did some wrong, but I'm always right. So I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night. Tell you twice, I'm a thief in the night. I did some wrong, but I'm always right. So I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night. Look, if I call you babe, you babe for the day, or babe for the night. You not my wife. She wanna kill her, so all night. I wanna give me all night. AP, big rocks, in the hood with the realest. 5K on the dinner, bring 300 down to the dealer. I did some wrong, but I'm always right. Said I know how to shoot, and I know how to fight. If I tell you once, I'll tell you twice. I'm real discreet, like a thief in the night.
I'm rich, but I'm riding, I'm low on this side.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Educating parents and caregivers about the importance of making oral hygiene a priority at every age is essential. Anytime is a good time to talk about nutrition, brushing habits, flossing, and the importance of fluoride. Families that follow good oral health together are more likely to inspire children to adopt healthy habits that last a lifetime. Please visit www.adha.org/NCDHM for more information. This message was sponsored by Dre Patrick, host of Foreign Matters, every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 106liveradio.com.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You can say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Are you thinking of changing your marketing strategy? 106 Live Radio is the solution you need to promote your goods and services. For a limited time only, we are offering special advertising rates on our fast-growing radio network. We can also help you create an audio commercial or a website banner that fits your business needs. It is just that simple. Visit our website at 106liveradio.com for details.
Bringing you the best shows and music 24/7 on your favorite radio. It's 106liveradio.com.
No sweet. No switch.
And we are back, people. And it is that time, people. You guys know what that music means. It means it is time for us to say goodbye. Of course, definitely had another great time with another great topic with you guys today. I hope you guys really got something out of that we should all take the time out to celebrate ourselves. We take the time out to remember that we only have one life. We only have so much time here, and we spend a lot of it doing things that we may not necessarily want to do, or that maybe doesn't really pour into us. That doesn't necessarily make us feel great. And when we have opportunities to take some time out and actually do something that does make you feel great, do something that does feed you, do something that does make you feel just good about yourself, make you feel good about having gotten up out of bed. Like I always say, man, if you're an adult and it's consenting adults doing it and you don't hurt anybody, I want you to do that. And one thing that I don't think will hurt anybody is celebrating yourself. Now, if you're going way too overboard with the celebration, then I feel like you need to cut it out. If you're having a baby reveal where you burn down a forest, cut it out. You can still have your baby shower and do the baby reveal there. You just don't have to put any fireworks into it. That's all. But even then, hey, celebrate yourself. Like, yeah, celebrate yourself. I spent a lot of time talking, and I could keep going because there are so many things that we just take for granted that if we really sat back and thought about it, man, we would be celebrating ourselves all the time. And of course, I don't want to get too deep on you guys, but we do do a lot here, and we do think a lot about God and what God does. I mean, if we were to take the time to sit back and think about how everything functioned, like, it would blow our minds. So just take the time, celebrate yourself. Like I always say, you deserve it. All right, people, shout out to Mama and Papa Variable, thank you so much. We'll be contacting you guys soon. Shout out to Brother and Sister Variable. Love you guys. Shout out to Mrs. Variable and Variable Children. Variable Children heard the beginning of the show this morning. I hope they enjoyed it. Shout out to Miss JaNeen. Thank you for joining us today. Shout out to everybody who was in the chat, everybody who was interactive in the chat. Shout out to my man Romy Rome. Shout out to Always Live in Atlanta. Shout out to Miss Fran. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat today, everybody. Shout out to everybody who listens, but who wasn't interactive, but they still listen. I know they do, and I appreciate them. My man Trey, my man Will, Dion, Brandon. Shout out to Brandon again for all the good food this weekend, Brandon. Appreciate you. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Sakita. All right, you guys. Of course, the Tanasha Gray Show is up next, where she will be doing, she will be continuing on her 40-day wellness journey. So she is about to wrap that up. So you guys still tune in and make sure you get some of that wellness with her as well. So, like I always say, people, y'all know what I always say. Love yourself and respect yourself for 2 reasons. 1, you deserve it. And 2, when you love and respect yourself, you love and respect others. That is my time. I am gone until we see each other tomorrow. Peace.
Nothing about it. Love.
So I'ma keep on drinking cause I love it. And I'ma keep on smoking cause I love it. And I'ma keep grinding cause I love it. She tell me keep cause she love it.